your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? We'll get the volume right. Attention, please. May I have your attention, please? 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 May I have... I guess I have your attention. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Noah, for taking a chance on this untested in such a performance venue rig. But my name is, in fact, MC Space Cadet, 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 So allow me to give a very brief explanation of what the heck this is. This is an audiovisual, hands-free live looper. It's got the new Connect on top of the monitor looking at me. It can see where I am, can see my body, it can tell my body apart from the background, and it can see my hands. It can tell whether my hands are open or pointing, see a little pointing cursor, or if I make a fist, they can detect that too. So the basic, most simple thing you do is you put your hand up, and you make a fist to start looping. Very simply, something like this. Very simply, something like this. Very simply, something like this. And do that a lot. Very simply, something like this. Or very simply, something like this. Or maybe something like this. Or maybe something like this. Then you can point. Maybe something like this. Or maybe perhaps like that. Mute it out. Like this. Point and open up, maybe bring it back in like this. Or maybe perhaps 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 like this. So you can get loops of different durations, little circles underneath, show kind of how many measures it is. And so you can, they all line up on quarter notes. You can put your hand on your chest and point. And you get a sound effects menu. Thank you, thank you. You're too kind. That's pretty good. 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 Maybe perhaps like this. Big maybe perhaps like this. Put your hand on your head like this. Maybe perhaps. You got kind of a system pop-up menu. All this stuff you can do. So, well, how did I get this idea? 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 One thing that is wonderful about this is there's no buttons. One thing that's horrible about this is that there are no buttons. Because this thing is doing its best to see what my hands are doing, and it's an amazingly good job for like $125. But it's not perfect. It's not as perfect as buttons. So weird stuff is going to happen, and we'll adjust. We'll roll with it. So the how I got this idea in the first place was, I'll just say very briefly, through, let me go. I started out in an a cappella group in college. That's a bunch of happy hippies. I fell in love with harmony there in a deep, deep way. Got into the rave scene. I was like, where are all the ravers and the singers? Why are singers not raving? Why are ravers not singing? And then, and then who knows this man? Okay, anybody who doesn't know this man, this is Beauty Man, Darren Foreman from the UK, in my opinion, the best live looper who has ever lived. If you are here tonight, you should know this man and follow his work. He started out like 4 or 5 years ago, and I fell in love with what he was doing. He was a singer, he was coming into the rave scene, he was making it happen. But he was frustrated by how, when you're live looping, it's hard for people to see what you're doing. But he made this video. He made this video called Monkey Jazz, where he recorded himself doing a little live looping set, and then he recorded video from a bunch of angles and cut it up so that the video loops were going kick, 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 kick,
Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow.
So that was like, I saw that and was like, well, why can't you do that live? And I decided to go do that. So, and then I actually got to demo it for him. This is us being awesome in Vancouver 4 years ago. It lit such a fire under me that it motivated me to keep working on this ever since. And so what I'd like to do now is just, I've done a lot more programming this than I have actually performing with it, so I'm completely improvising 100%. I have no idea what's about to happen. Thank you for your indulgence. Oh yes, I know. There's a huge spectrum of improv versus not in the looping world. Do, 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 do. That's not quite right, is it? Do. Do, do, ba do, 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 ding, ding, do, ba do, 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 ding, ding, do, ba do, 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 ba do, 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 ding, do, ba do, 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 dum, dum, do, ba do, 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 dum. Do ba do 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 dum dum do ba do 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 dum dum do ba do 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 dum dum do ba do 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 dum dum 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 do dum. Dum do dum dum do dum 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 do dum dum do Now let me take it up a little bit. One thing that I don't have right now is the ability to change tempo while there's any sound playing at all, because that's like really hard, and I don't know how people who do that actually do it. But that does let me turn things up a little bit to, oh, I don't know, that's 110. Oh, one thing I should mention is I'm looking at a slightly different view from you all. When I'm looking at it, it looks like this. So I have this little readout up here, and I'm seeing myself as if in a mirror, whereas you all are seeing me as the camera sees me. So let's see, am I at 110 BPM here? Wind down a bit. So you might have noticed in there while things were jamming along, all of a sudden something kind of slowed to a crawl. So there's still some bugs in the system, especially when I start putting multiple sound effects on multiple loops, as I was doing there. But I'll give you one more little taste, and then I'll be on my way. But one thing I do want to mention is that this is actually an open source project. Let's think out a couple other things I won't take the time to show, but this is an open source project at holofunk.com. If you would like to play with this, I am happy to give it to you for free if you have the hardware. So there's an open invitation to all the loopers of the world to fool around with this if you are intrigued and entertained. And with that, let me finish up with something I think a little bass heavy to start. Bow, 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 wow, bow, 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 wow. Whoop.
Yeah.